All right, so we're taking a deep dive today into financial social work.
It's a fascinating field, right?
Definitely.
It blends social work with...
Personal finance.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we've got some info here on the Financial Social Work Collaborative.
Hmm.
Sounds like they're all about creating a supportive community.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really stands out about them.
For people practicing FSW, I mean...
It can be a pretty isolating field.
So true.
Even for experienced professionals.
Especially if you're trying to, integrate financial well-being into a practice that maybe wasn't built around that.
All right, even those with a financial background might struggle with that.
Totally.
So it seems like the collaborative is trying to address that directly.
Yeah, and I love that.
Providing that support network.
And you know how much I love to get into the details.
Of course.
So we've got some fascinating materials here that really give us a glimpse into their approach.
Yeah, membership.
The challenges they're facing, the whole shebang. Let's start with the basics. Why is financial social work even a thing?
Well, most people face money problems at some point in their lives, right?
Ugh, tell me about it.
And that just highlights the need for trustworthy professionals.
People who can help navigate the complexities of finances.
Not just the practical side, like budgeting.
But the emotional side, too.
Because let's face it, our relationship with money can be pretty messy.
Absolutely.
So you need someone who understands the psychology behind it.
And that's where FSW comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's about taking a holistic approach.
Recognizing that financial well-being is intertwined with our mental, emotional, even physical health.
Okay, so that's the why.
Right.
But what about the who?
Who are these folks behind the collaborative?
Yeah, where did this all begin?
Well, it started with 4 certified financial social workers.
Well, entrepreneurs, right.
Exactly.
So they already knew the challenges of building a business in this field.
Absolutely.
So what prompted them to create this organization?
They saw a gap in ongoing support for people practicing FSW.
So they decided to build a network.
A place where people could share resources.
Bounce ideas.
Find mentors.
It's brilliant, really.
It's like they built in that support system from the ground up.
So you're not just getting a certification.
You're getting a whole community.
And they're not just stopping there.
No, they're thinking big picture.
They want financial social work to be recognized as a legitimate profession.
It makes sense.
They're even working to get it coded in NAICS.
Which is?
The North American Coding System for Healthcare Services.
So this could have a huge impact on insurance billing.
Oh, yeah.
More credibility for the field.
It would be a game changer.
Definitely.
And that ambition, it really speaks to their commitment to elevating the entire field. Okay, so we've got the why and the who.
Right.
But what about the how?
How do they actually support the FSW community?
What are they doing on a practical level?
Well, they've structured their approach around what they call the 4 pillars.
Okay, I love a good framework. Lay it on me.
The 4 pillars are education, networking, resources, and support.
So it's a multifaceted approach.
Very much so.
And I'm guessing each pillar plays a crucial role.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's break them down.
Okay, starting with education.
What are they doing in that area?
They offer masterclasses on topics like mastering your money story.
Interesting.
It really highlights the connection between our personal narratives and our financial behaviors.
That makes sense.
Like, our beliefs about money are often shaped by our early experiences.
And those beliefs can really influence our financial decisions.
Exactly.
So it's not just about learning practical skills.
It's about understanding the deeper psychological factors at play.
Okay, I'm digging this.
And these masterclasses are open to anyone.
You don't have to be a member of the collaborative.
Nope.
That's cool.
They really want to share this knowledge with as many people as possible.
I like that.
Okay, next up is networking.
Which is kind of their bread and butter, right?
Yeah, I could say that about...
I mean, building a supportive community is their whole mission.
Right, and they facilitate that through monthly calls.
Just for connecting and sharing experiences.
Exactly.
It's like a support group for financial social workers.
Exactly.
I love that.
A safe space to talk about challenges.
Celebrate wins.
Get feedback from peers.
Okay, so we've got education and networking.
Right.
What about resources?
What kind of resources do they offer?
Yeah, what can members expect?
Think of it as a curated stream of information.
Specifically tailored to financial social work.
Exactly. It's super helpful.
They have a newsletter that highlights trends.
Best practices.
Even spotlights members doing innovative work.
So it's like having a finger on the pulse of everything happening in the field. Okay, and then there's that last pillar, support.
Which we've touched on a bit already.
Right, but it's worth emphasizing.
It's really at the heart of everything they do.
It's about creating that safe space.
Where people feel understood and encouraged.
Where they can get guidance from mentors. And connect with peers who get it.
It's so important, especially in a field that can be emotionally challenging.
Dealing with people's finances can be tough.
Absolutely.
There's a lot at stake.
And it's not always easy to separate the personal from the professional.
Right. So having that support network can make a world of difference.
It's like they've created a safety net for the FSW community. Okay, so they're not just talking the talks.
No, they're walking the walk.
They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Literally.
They were developing the FSW Academy.
A 12-module course specifically designed to help people launch and grow their FSW businesses.
It makes sense, given their backgrounds as entrepreneurs.
They understand the unique challenges of building a business in this field.
And they're passionate about empowering others to do the same. But let's be real, there are challenges.
Every growing field has them.
And financial social work is no exception.
The materials we're looking at reveal a pretty significant hurdle.
Yeah, billing for services.
A lot of practitioners are struggling with this.
Many are relying on private pay.
Or trying to integrate FSW into existing mental health services.
It's a workaround.
But not ideal.
It highlights a bigger issue.
How society views financial well-being.
Often it's not given the same weight as physical or mental health.
And that's reflected in how insurance companies and healthcare systems approach it.
It's a systemic problem. But here's the interesting part.
That's it.
There's a growing awareness of the link between financial well-being and mental health.
People are starting to realize you can't separate the two.
It's all interconnected.
Exactly.
And the Financial Social Work Collaborative is right there on the front lines,
Trying to bridge that gap.
championing the value of this specialized approach. And I think this is where their work toward professional recognition becomes even more critical.
If they can successfully establish financial social work as its own distinct profession,
It could pave the way for wider acceptance.
and better integration into existing systems,
It's a long road.
but they're making progress.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Their origin story, their mission, those 4 pillars.
And we even touched on some of the challenges they're facing.
Before we move on,
Anything standing out to you so far about the Financial Social Work Collaborative?
what really impresses me is their dedication to supporting individual practitioners while simultaneously working to advance the entire field.
They're not just building a community.
They're actively creating a future where financial social work is recognized and valued.
As the essential service it is.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. Their passion and commitment are truly inspiring.
Let's take a quick pause here.
We'll be back in a flash to explore more about what the Financial Social Work Collaborative has to offer.
Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back and ready to dive deeper into some of the specifics.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the collaborative is actually putting their ideas into action.
Like, how are they supporting both individual practitioners and the field as a whole?
I'm all about real-world examples. And luckily, we have some great material here from a training they held.
Oh, yeah, that was fascinating.
It felt like we were getting a behind-the-scenes look at their work.
A glimpse into their process.
Exactly.
Did anything stand out to you as particularly insightful?
Honestly, so much of it was great,
I know, right?
but I really enjoyed that mini networking session they had during the training.
With Shay, Claire, and Tiana, right?
Yes, 3 of the founders.
Sharing their personal experiences?
It was like a sneak peek into one of their actual networking calls.
It gave you a sense of the camaraderie.
The support they have for each other. Can you remind me what each of them shared?
Sure.
I'm trying to keep all these amazing women straight.
Okay, so Shay, who's based in Georgia, talked about how her background working with low-income families led her to FSW.
I can see the connection there.
She saw firsthand how financial stress was impacting the families she worked with,
It's such a common issue.
but often gets treated as separate from other social and emotional challenges.
And that's where the FSW perspective comes in.
Right. It recognizes that financial well-being is interwoven with everything else going on in a person's life.
It's holistic.
Exactly.
And Shay said that the FSW certification process helped her feel more comfortable talking about money.
Both with herself and her clients.
That's huge.
It can be such a taboo topic.
Especially in a professional setting.
And she even convinced a colleague to get certified with her,
Oh, that's great.
even though her colleague wasn't a social worker.
Wait, so you don't have to be a social worker to get certified in FSW?
That's right.
Huh, I didn't know that.
The certification is open to anyone who wants to learn more about the approach.
That's really interesting.
They actually make a distinction between financial social workers
Who have a social work background
and financial social work counselors or coaches.
who might come from other fields. Okay, that makes sense.
It seems like they're really emphasizing that anyone can benefit from this approach.
even if they're not working directly with clients.
Yeah.
And Claire, another founder, really highlighted this.
During the networking session.
Yeah, she comes from a finance and social sciences background, not social work.
But she found her niche working with young people and their money issues.
Through her nonprofit foundation. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you can apply this expertise.
It's not just limited to one specific career path.
And then there's Tiana.
Based in Los Angeles.
She shared a pretty powerful story
about how she came to FSW after working with families affected by the foster care system.
For over a decade.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's quite a journey.
It is.
What was the connection there?
She realized that financial stress was a major factor contributing to families being reported to the foster care system.
It makes sense when you think about it.
Like if you're struggling to make ends meet.
You're more likely to experience stress.
Conflict.
Which can lead to problems at home.
And in some cases, that can result in involvement with Child Protective Services.
It's a heartbreaking reality.
And to make matters worse, she saw that the direct service employees,
the people on the front lines,
often had their own money issues.
It's like a cycle, right?
If the people providing support are struggling themselves.
It makes it that much harder to effectively help others.
Exactly.
So it sounds like Tiana felt like FSW was the missing piece.
Addressing the root causes of financial distress.
In a way that traditional budgeting or financial literacy programs often don't. It's about going beyond the numbers.
Understanding the emotional and psychological components.
And what's Tiana doing now with her FSW background?
She founded a business called Financial Healing Circles.
I love that name.
It's so evocative.
It really captures the emotional baggage so many people carry when it comes to their finances.
Money wounds.
It's powerful.
And she uses a group setting to provide a safe space for people to unpack their money stories.
Reframe negative thoughts.
And work towards developing a healthier relationship with money.
That's fantastic.
And it highlights another key element of the FSW approach.
The importance of community and connection.
It's not just about individual therapy.
It's about fostering a supportive environment.
Where people can learn and grow together.
Okay, so we've heard about Shay, Claire, and Tiana.
Right.
But what about LB?
What's her story?
Yeah, fill us in.
Well, LB is a licensed social worker and entrepreneur based in North Carolina.
She's running her own private practice.
Integrating FSW into her work with clients.
That's awesome.
But we mentioned earlier that billing for FSW services can be a real challenge.
How is she navigating that?
It's definitely a major obstacle.
And it came up a lot during the trainings Q&A.
People were wondering about billing for FSW, especially in a private practice setting.
Yeah, it seems to be a big roadblock for the field.
It's hard to grow and expand if you can't get insurance companies to reimburse for these services.
So what's the solution?
Unfortunately, there isn't an easy answer yet.
You can't bill specifically for FSW as it stands.
But Shay and Claire explain some ways to work around it.
Okay, what are some of the strategies they're using?
If you're a licensed therapist or counselor,
you can integrate FSW into your sessions and bill under existing mental health codes.
But this only works if the financial interventions are directly tied to a client's diagnosed mental health condition.
So, for example, if someone is dealing with anxiety,
and their financial stress is a contributing factor,
you can address the financial piece as part of the overall treatment plan.
Precisely.
And that's what LB is doing in her practice.
She has a client intake form that specifically asks about money.
So she can gauge if finances are impacting their overall well-being.
Smart.
But it still feels a bit limited, doesn't it?
It does.
It must be frustrating for practitioners and clients who want to focus on the financial aspect.
Without having to link it to a mental health diagnosis.
Exactly.
And that's why the collaborative's push to get FSW coded in NAICS is so important.
If they're successful, it would be a game changer for the field.
It would legitimize FSW as its own service.
Create so many more possibilities for billing and insurance coverage.
It would send a clear message that financial well-being is just as vital as physical and mental health.
It's a long road, but it sounds like they're making progress.
They are.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too.
In the meantime, they're doing a lot to support those who are already practicing FSW.
Even with the billing challenges.
I'm really curious to hear more about their specific offerings.
We talked about the FSW Academy.
But what else are they doing to help people establish successful practices?
They have a whole range of resources and support systems in place.
A comprehensive ecosystem for FSW professionals.
You could say that. Tell me everything.
Well, one of their core offerings is their membership program.
Okay, tell me more.
It's actually free to join.
Wow, free.
That's right.
That's incredibly generous.
What are the benefits?
Yeah, what do you get for free?
Members get access to a ton of valuable resources.
Like what?
They have monthly office hours where members can get personalized advice and support.
Directly from the founders.
So it's like having direct access to the experts. That must be so helpful, especially for those just starting out.
Absolutely.
They also have monthly networking calls,
Where members can connect with each other,
swap stories.
learn from each other's wins and challenges.
They're like a built-in support group and brainstorming session, all in one.
Right.
Creating that space for connection and collaboration is so smart.
And they have a monthly newsletter.
Packed with curated content.
Trends, resources, member spotlights.
It's a great way to stay in the loop.
And connected with the wider FSW community.
It seems like they've thought of everything.
A one-stop shop for all things FSW.
And on top of the free membership, they offer paid services.
Like the masterclasses we talked about.
And one-on-one mentorship.
That's right.
Tell me more about the mentorship program.
Okay, so they pair members with seasoned FSW professionals.
Who offer guidance and support.
Tailored to their individual needs and goals.
Like having a personal cheerleader and advisor rolled into one. I can only imagine how much that kind of support would mean.
Especially when you're navigating the ups and downs of building a business.
In a relatively new field.
Exactly.
And then there's the FSW Academy.
Which we touched on earlier.
A 12-module course.
That walks aspiring and seasoned FSW pros through launching and growing successful practices.
So they're really covering all the bases.
From free resources and networking to paid mentorship and a full-fledged business course.
Pretty impressive.
It is.
But every growing field has its challenges.
Of course.
What are some of the hurdles they're facing as an organization?
One of the biggest is simply raising awareness about FSW and its benefits.
It's still a relatively new field.
A lot of people aren't even aware it exists.
It's hard to build a community and establish a profession when people don't even know what it is.
Right?
So what are they doing about it?
They're very active on social media.
Spreading the word about FSW.
They're putting in the work to educate and advocate.
Are they doing anything else to overcome this challenge?
They're actively seeking out partnerships with other organizations and professionals.
Who might want to integrate FSW into their own work.
That makes sense.
It's about finding natural allies.
Building bridges between different fields.
Who are some of the groups they're targeting for these partnerships?
Everyone from financial planners and advisors to therapists and social workers to educators and community leaders.
They understand that financial well-being is a multifaceted issue.
So having a broad network of partners is key.
It's about building a movement.
Not just a niche profession.
What other challenges are they facing?
Another one is finding qualified mentors for their mentorship program.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why is that a problem?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because FSW is still a relatively new field, there aren't that many experienced practitioners with the bandwidth to take on a mentoring role.
That's the classic catch-22, isn't it?
You need experienced mentors to help grow the field.
But you need a robust field to attract experienced mentors.
Precisely.
So how are they addressing that?
They're proactively addressing it by providing training and resources for potential mentors.
And working to create a pipeline of new FSW professionals.
Through their certification program and the FSW Academy.
It's a smart, long-term approach.
They're not just patching holes.
They're building a solid foundation for the future of FSW. And that long-term vision is something I admire about them.
Their dedication to both the present and future of the field.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the organization.
Their programs, their challenges.
But I'm curious about the founders themselves.
What are they like as individuals?
What drives them?
Did we get any insights into their personalities and motivations during the training?
I'm always fascinated by the people behind these kinds of movements.
We definitely caught glimpses during that networking session.
Right.
But there's actually a pretty revealing moment towards the end of the training.
Ooh, tell me more.
It happened during the Q&A.
I love a good Q&A session.
Someone asked a question that caught the founders a little off guard.
I always love those unexpected questions.
Me too.
What was it?
Someone asked if the collaborative was also for people who work with wealthy clients.
Oh, interesting.
It seems their current focus is primarily on underserved communities.
Right. That's a fair question.
It's easy to assume that FSW is only for those struggling financially.
But that's not always the case.
Exactly.
So how did they respond?
They were quick to clarify that the collaborative welcomes anyone who wants to use the FSW approach.
Regardless of the clients they serve.
It's great that they're so inclusive.
A healthy relationship with money benefits everyone, no matter their income level.
Absolutely.
Did they say anything else?
Shay chimed in with a really insightful point.
Okay, what did she say?
She explained that the collaborative itself was born from a need for connection and support among financial social workers,
So their initial focus was on their own needs as practitioners.
creating a space to learn, grow, and support one another.
That makes sense.
And from that starting point, they've expanded their mission to embrace the wider field of FSW.
But that core value of community and connection remains central to everything they do.
It's a fantastic example of how a personal need can blossom into a powerful movement.
And it reminds us that even though they're leaders in the field,
They're still human beings with their own hopes and dreams.
they've faced their own challenge.
I think that's what makes them so relatable and inspiring.
They're not just experts on a stage,
They're fellow travelers on this journey of financial well-being,
and they're extending a hand.
inviting others to join them.
This has been so inspiring.
I agree.
I'm absolutely loving this deep dive.
Me too.
Should we take a quick pause here?
Sure.
We'll wrap up this exploration of the Financial Social Work Collaborative when we come back.
Sounds good.
Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into the Financial Social Work Collaborative.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired by everything we've learned.
Me too. I mean, they've accomplished so much in such a short time.
It's amazing, right? Building a community, creating resources, advocating for the field.
They're like little FSW dynamos.
And they've got so much energy, it's contagious.
You know what really stands out to me, though?
What's that?
Their commitment to making FSW accessible to everyone.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit earlier, right?
Like how their master classes are open to anyone, not just members.
Right, you don't even have to be practicing FSW to benefit from their expertise.
It's like they're saying, hey, everyone deserves a healthy relationship with money.
And we're here to help.
I love that approach.
It's very inclusive.
And it really speaks volumes about their vision.
Their values.
They see FSW as a catalyst for positive change.
Not just a specialized profession for a select few.
It's about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive financially.
A world where financial well-being is a right, not a privilege.
It's a beautiful vision.
And they're actively working to make it a reality.
It's pretty inspiring.
Hmm.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's been your biggest takeaway? What's resonating with you the most?
You know, for me, it's the power of community.
We hear that a lot, but what does it mean in this context?
We often think of finances as a solitary thing, right?
You know, something you manage on your own.
Behind closed doors.
But the collaborative is challenging that notion.
They're showing us that we don't have to go it alone.
There's strength in numbers.
And support to be found in connecting with others who understand our struggles, our aspirations.
So it's not just about commiserating over shared challenges.
No, it's about more than that.
It's about igniting innovation.
Inspiring collective action.
When people come together with a shared purpose, amazing things can happen.
The collaborative is a perfect example of that.
They're not just talking about community.
They're living it every single day.
All right, so we've explored a lot today.
We've covered their origin story, their mission, those 4 pillars.
We talked about the challenges they face, what they offer.
Even got a glimpse into the founders themselves.
But before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with a thought to ponder.
Oh, I like this part.
We've seen the incredible work the Collaborative is doing, but it makes you wonder, what other groundbreaking approaches are out there?
What other passionate individuals are working to change the world for the better?
Maybe in finance? Maybe in other fields?
It's an exciting thought.
So if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, don't let it end here.
Keep researching, keep learning, keep connecting with others who share your passions.
You never know, you might be the next innovator, the next game changer.
The next founder of a movement that transforms the way we think about something important.
The possibilities are limitless.
That's a great note to end on.
I agree.
It's been a pleasure exploring the Financial Social Work Collaborative with you.
Likewise.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
And keep those possibilities open.